Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came battling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah! We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
Hey everyone, Cody Johnson here with Thin Blue Line Outdoors, coming back to you with podcast number 110. I'm here with Adam today. So Adam is with the Fallen Outdoors, the Iowa chapter. We met him at the Iowa Deer Classic. We met a lot of cool people there. That was our second year having a booth there. We already plan on going back. But yeah, it's really cool to meet Adam. We've talked a little bit throughout turkey season. I'm going to have Adam kind of introduce himself, talk about the Fallen Outdoors, in particular the Iowa chapter. And honestly, the little bit I know about the Fallen Outdoors, I've talked to some of the Illinois boys before. What you guys are doing are really awesome, so I love to help spread the mission and all that good stuff. So take it away, Adam.
Yep. So my name is Adam Zierden. I am the team lead for the state of Iowa. And what the Fallen Outdoors is basically we are a 100% veteran-run nonprofit. And basically what we do is we get veterans back in the outdoors, whether that be getting them out on hunts, fishing trips, any outdoor activity. That's the end goal. And we are nationwide, so what we do is we can connect veterans, active duty, reserve, guards, you name it. We can connect you to whoever throughout the nation. So we're a great resource to everybody out there. So but like I said, I'm the Iowa lead, so we're just getting started here in Iowa. This is our first year getting started. So we don't have a lot of guys, but we got 8 guys throughout the state. We're running a few hunts, but our we've had a few hunts going on this year, mainly turkey hunts this year. We've had a few success. We had a couple guys out this year already. We had, I think, 2 guys had success, which is great. I think we had a total of, 1, 2, 3, I think 4 or 5 turkey hunts going on this year, at least. And we had a youth hunt going on, so that was great. So we do get veterans that have kids, and we try to do that too. If they got little ones, we try to involve them too, which is great too, because they're our future too. So it's always 100%. Good to get them out, which is great. Sometimes that's sometimes the best hunts you can do is getting the kids out. So I enjoy it. I got kids, so sometimes those hunts are just as good as getting sometimes the vets out almost, but they're all great hunts to do, honestly. So
yeah, I have to ask, was the kid hunt one of the successful ones or no?
No, unfortunately that wasn't successful. We didn't harvest anything, but yeah, I mean it was a successful hunt, but just the experience. It was our first hunt. We had it was I think the first morning we had 4 toms come in right over top of the ridge, and they were just 2 hens leaded the way, and those 4 toms came over just strutting and gobbling, and her eyes about came right out of her head. It was just cool watching her. She was shaking, and the one hen was actually a bearded hen, and we didn't end up taking her, but after you got 4 toms and strutting in front of you, you don't really think of it, you're so focused on those toms. But her dad looked at us, and he's like, I think we should have took that bearded hen. And yeah, you don't think of it in the moment, but that's what it is sometimes, but unfortunately the rest of the weekend we didn't get close enough to some the rest of the week. So, but it was still a cool experience for her. So I think she's hooked the now to go turkey hunting. So
Oh yeah, I mean, you get a
great.
close goblin in your face like that. It's hard to beat.
Yep. Yep. And they just stayed out about 40, I think about 45 yards out, and she just wasn't comfortable,
Yeah.
which is okay. I'd rather take a comfortable shot than, poke out something that far for her, especially her first time. So,
Absolutely. Well, kind of deep dive. So I'm assuming, obviously you're a veteran. What branch
Yep.
did you serve, sir?
yep. So I was in the Army. I was in for 8 years. I served from 2011 to 19. I was 91 Bravo. I was a mechanic. I'm a paratrooper, so I was stationed at Bragg. I did 4 years there, and then I did 4 years reserve. So that was just a little bit on that. But I never deployed, but
Yep.
did a lot of like GRF, which is like Global Response Force, kind of that training and stuff. Did a lot of like Fort Polk, Germany, things like that. Which is kind of, which is all right. It's a lot of training and stuff, but
Yep.
yeah,
I get
we could,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
So obviously, I'm assuming you probably didn't just deep dive into hunting. Did you grow up hunting and fishing? I'm just assuming that.
Yeah. So I did a little bit, mainly fishing. I grew up in Minnesota.
Oh, okay, I can hear it a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, you get a little bit of that. Still
Yeah.
hang on to that just a little bit.
Yeah.
So so I grew up in Minnesota, central part of Minnesota. So we did a lot of fishing. So obviously the fishing's better than the deer hunting up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So did a bunch of that. My uncles, we still got a cabin up there, so we still go up there fishing every year up in northern Minnesota.
I'm jealous.
Still do that, and then we moved down here to Iowa. Mom's from down here, so kind of switched gears. Hunting was better down here, so we did that. So all we had was the river, so wasn't a fond of the river too much for fishing. So
yeah.
switched to bow hunting and gun hunting and all that, and started bow hunting. I think middle school, and then just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
And then just kind of, just taught myself really from there. So it just, and then, once I left for the Army, I just kind of took a break, and then met a lot of good people in there. And then when I left for the reserves, met pretty much my best friend, and he lives in Wisconsin, so we do a lot back and forth. So he lives 2 hours away, but we still do a lot together. So
Yep.
but
So how
Yeah,
did
that's
you
kind of-
then? How did you get connected with the Fallen Outdoors?
yeah, so it's kind of started. The Deer Fest actually in Wisconsin. I don't know
Okay.
if you've ever been up there at all.
No, we keep
Um,
saying we're going to have a booth there. Are you talking about the one at the Kalahari? that one or a
Well,
different
I think
one?
that's the Sportsman. I think that's the
Okay.
Sportsman one.
Gotcha.
So the Deer Fest was in Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee, just north of Milwaukee. I think.
Okay.
I think it moved. I think now I can't remember. It's been a few years, but so we went up there, and there was actually a another nonprofit up there called Heroes Hunt for Veterans, HHV,
Yep,
And they are out of-
I've seen them before.
Waupun, Wisconsin. Great group up there, great group of guys. I actually went on a hunt with them, and did a deer hunt with them, and it was successful with them. And after I did that, and I was like, you know what, I want to get involved. And I started looking online, and I ended up finding the Fallen Outdoors and got a hold of the Iowa chapter, and I'm interested. And then he's like, oh yeah, we need help. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I just want to see what it's all about. So I just became a kind of a staffer at first, and I did some waterfall hunts, and everything, and that's usually what I do is just waterfall hunts because it's a little easier to do. Get vets out on the river. But from there, it just I just kept going and going and going on it, and just kind of kept growing, and then just now I'm kind of took over as the lead, so it's still right because we kind of been growing the whole team now, so which is good. So because because when I started, it was right before COVID, so we were kind of getting the team going, and all of a sudden COVID kind of wiped us out, and it kind of wiped the team out, and we couldn't get it going, and then all of a sudden, you know what, we're gonna get it going. I took over as assistant team lead, and then the Illinois team lead, he helped us out. He kind of took over as the lead, kind of mentored us a little bit. Yeah. And then he's like, all right, you're on your own. I took over, and then now we're kind of where we're at now, so which is good. So yeah.
Good deal. I know. We started our brand March of 2020, right before COVID hit. So I know I get that completely. It was definitely interesting times during that time frame.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was definitely. It really sucked because we were kind of just getting our feet under us, and we were going really good, and then bam, all of a sudden, that was with everybody, everything, the whole world just kind of flipped upside down, and it kind of sucked, but
100%. 100%. Well then, so I guess what do you guys got planned for this year anyway? You got anything good planned? I'm sure you do.
Yeah. So we had some turkey hunts going on, like I was saying.
Yep.
We actually had a couple crappie fishing trips going on too, which they were successful on those too. Those were in central Iowa, I believe. Last week we had some bluegill fishing trip, pan fishing trips basically, over by Des Moines. Those were pretty good. The guys, they were getting their limits, and I think there was like 4 vets that went on that, and they had a pile of fish. Hitting them on the beds. They were killing it. So that was great. And we did we also did a trap shooting here the other week too. We got 4 vets out, and the local sportsman club here did donated the clays for us and everything, and said go ahead and shoot. They shot 4 or 5 rounds and just had a ball, so that was great. But we also so for this year we got we have a big waterfall hunt coming up in fall. Delta Waterfall helps us out with that, so we'll have 6 vets for that one, which is good. We'll have lodging, food, everything will be provided, so that's always a good one for us. We've been doing that one for about 5 years now, so awesome. that one's been a blast. So they, all boats, gear, everything provided. The vets just show up and have fun. I think every year we shoot ducks and geese. Last year we did a little. I think we did a combo. We did a little bit of goose hunting, a little field hunting, but usually we do 2 days, or river hunting, because not a lot of people get to go on the Mississippi and hunt. So it's a really good experience for them to do that. But so that's kind of our bigger hunt we kind of got coming up, but we'll have a few fishing trips coming up There's going to be, I think in Des Moines, we're going to be sponsoring there's going to be I can't remember what it's called exactly. Off the top of my head, there's a catfishing trip, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember what top of my head, but there's like 50 or 60 vets that we're gonna help sponsor it.
Okay.
So it's a pretty big. I think it's down at Red Rock
Okay.
Lake, I believe. Not familiar with the Des Moines area too much, but I think that's where it's at. So that's a pretty big thing we're gonna help out. We helped out last year with it. It was pretty good. So we're gonna do it again this year. And then we're going to this fall. We got a deer hunting trip. 2 vets. We got. Let's see. It's gonna be lodging, food probably provided, everything. And it's actually going to be with a MLB, former MLB star, Von Hayes. I don't know. He's a little before our time, but
See, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch baseball. I'm not a good.
yeah, I don't
reference on that.
really
Yeah.
either. But
Shit.
he played with the A's, I believe, and the Phillies, I believe.
Okay.
But he lives in Iowa now. He does a lot of charitable work. Really nice guy. So that's gonna be pretty cool. A couple vets out. He's got like 150 acres, I think. And
So he's giving up like his property to hunt for that weekend or whatever.
yeah. So he wants to basically give up his property and get some vets out. So
Awesome.
I think that's pretty cool. I think it could lead into some more stuff for us, maybe. And I think it's gonna be.
So is that
You know, and he's on the.
is that a new trip, like for new to this year?
Yeah, that's a totally new thing for us. So that's which is great. It's something new we're adding. So deer hunting is pretty hard in Iowa
Yeah.
to get on.
I get that.
I mean, you're from Illinois, so you know that.
Yep.
It's ridiculous here in Iowa just to get on private ground. There isn't a whole lot of public around me. There's a few, but I mean, you go knock on somebody's door and it's like, well, my cousin's neighbor or my cousin's brother's nephew hunts it and they don't end up hunting it, or it's all leased up, you know. So it's getting harder and harder every year. And you know what? I only hunt 18 acres, so, and I only own 5 acres, so it's really hard for me to help. You know, I help. You know, I try to get some vets out on, you know, to do some doe hunts or whatever, but it's really hard for me because, you know, they really only transition on the property that I hunt, so it's like you really got to catch them. So it's really hard, but I wish I had more. We used to hunt a couple 100 acres, and that got leased out from underneath us. So it's like it's all a money game now. So
Yep. No, I get that. Get that completely, man.
yep.
It's kind of in these trips. Is this, you know, either your guys' team members or sponsors? Like, who's giving up? Like, who's putting on these trips? Who's taking them out?
Yep.
Like, how do they work?
Yeah. So usually, like, so if I put it on a hunt, usually I'll usually take the vet out. So usually, like, if you're a staff member or a board member, it's required for you to do like five hunts a year to maintain your member or your board position or whatever. So you still got to go out and do an event, trip, or whatever.
Yep.
So we'll do 5 hunts a year or whatever. But if I already have my 5 hunts or whatever, let's say I got a trip planned out, you know, and let's say it's in the middle of Iowa. Let's say it's over to Des Moines. I got a staff member over there. Hey, are you available to go run this hunt for me? Yep, I can do it. He can run that hunt for me, and he'll get awarded for that hunt and everything, and he can run it and everything. So I mean which is nice. So and that's what the thing is. It's some of these teams that have 40, 50 members on. That's what's great that they can do that. They have all that. It's just harder for a team like us that only have 8. So with us, we have to run more of our hunts, which is okay, but it's a lot. Okay.
Yep.
But it's the way I kind of look at it is I'm already out hunting already, so what is it to take a vet out with me or go do another hunt? It's really not that an issue for me. So
yeah.
The wife might see it different, but
yeah.
I don't know. So, but
so then, like the Delta waterfowl one, is it your guys' team members taking them out on going to these spots, or do you have like guides or what? Like who's working with you on that?
Yeah, so it's mainly the Delta waterfowl guys. So I help put on the hunt, and TFO basically gets the vets, pays for food and all that stuff, and Delta and another nonprofit, they basically pay for the lodging and anything else that's needed. So Delta basically, since these guys, I'm pretty new to waterfowl hunting, so I'm not good at it at all. So,
I'm the same way.
Horrible.
I'm the big game hunter, and I'm not the duck hunter.
I'm not good at all.
Yeah.
But like these guys are like, my buddy, I work with him, and he's got 2 dogs, and this is what he does. He lives for this stuff. Yeah. And him and his dad used to be the chair. I don't know. I think he was the chair member or whatever for Delta, for that chapter. So I think he stepped down, but I think he's the treasurer now. But those 2 basically ran that chapter, and they help out a lot. So I think there's like 4 or 5 boats. So they all have great dogs, and they love doing it. So I think maybe this year they can get a little. I think they want to get more involved, but we'll see. I know Delta does a lot for veterans, so, and they love it, and they do a lot for youth hunters too. So, and I know they're pretty involved too. Delta is with, I think, our southern chapter, I think too, but.
Okay, so if a let's say you're not a veteran or anything like that, so you're either an organization or individual, and you got either a good trip, hunt, or you just want to donate something, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, so if you want to get a hold of us, you can, depending on where you're at, you can either get a hold of the Fallen. You can go on Facebook, the Fallen Outdoors All Veteran page. There is a like a community page or whatever. I can't remember, for non-veterans or whatever. You can get on that.
Good.
Otherwise, there is obviously you can get on the website, thefallenoutdoors.org. You can get a hold of that, and you can get contacts from that. Those are the 2 ways that I know. Otherwise, if you are a veteran or wherever, you can get on to the Fallen Outdoors page, Midwest. And we're broken down obviously into regions. So we got the Midwest, the southern, east, and west coast. But that's the only really it's we operate off of Facebook, so
Yeah.
That's the only it's kind of hard in that aspect to say, hey, how do we get a hold of you? Well, you got Facebook or whatever? No. Okay, you're veteran? No. Oh, all right. Well, you gotta go online, and then all the contacts on there,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's it. Then you got a lot of veterans that are older and they don't have Facebook, and it's like they want to be involved, and it's like, oh shit, it's kind of this new day and age, it's no.
I get that. It's kind of the same thing. With the law enforcement side, I'm not a veteran, but we have a lot of veterans on our team, and then even law enforcement.
Yep.
A lot of our people don't use their real names on Facebook or Instagram because they don't want these people we deal with. So then I'm like, I want to post, I want to share, and I've kind of sacrificed myself. Pretty much everybody around here knows, hey, Cody, who's running the TBLO Outdoors, obviously he's a local cop, and I put myself out there. I don't make my team members do that if they don't want to do that. Because it hasn't bit me in the butt yet, but I have been on calls before where I'm dealing with a certain individual, and then randomly out throughout the conversation, like, aren't you on YouTube? And then then we're having this awkward dialogue. Like, I am on YouTube and I'm about to arrest you. So it is what it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It hasn't been too bad yet, though.
Yeah. Yep.
So, so you still think so? If a veteran wants to go on this hunt, or even better, because I'm just assuming you guys probably have this a lot. What if like a wife of a veteran wants to put him up for this hunt or something like that? Go to the website's the best place.
Yeah. So if a veteran doesn't have Facebook and like the wife can join the Facebook page. They just have to say, he doesn't have Facebook, I'm joining for him or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so if we post a hunt, we'll post, it'll say Team Iowa trip announcement, and then it'll say who, what, where, and it'll go in the description.
Okay.
And then it'll say, how to get into the how to get into the hunt or the trip or whatever. So it'll say, like, if you want to enter, comment, if it was a turkey hunt, enter, comment like thunder chicken or whatever. And you'll have to say, only comment if you can 100% make it, because we get, like, with everything, stuff comes up, and people back out, and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, you get a lot of good people that say, yep, I can come, I make it, and everything, and which is good. And we've had people from, I know we're in Iowa, but we've had a lot of people come from Nebraska, Wisconsin. We had a lot of Wisconsin people. We've had people come from Illinois. We've had guys who come from Oklahoma before. It's just crazy, some of these guys, are, you put on a hunt like a waterfowl hunt, all they gotta pay is basically for fuel and a license, and they're up here. And it's like, it's just crazy, But Iowa's a hard state to hunt, but for deer, and it's a little expensive for other things, but but people just want to come and hunt. So
I think sometimes in Iowa, the same way as Illinois, obviously we take for granted some of our hunting that we have around here. Even so, I'm based out of Fulton County, Illinois, and always grew up with a lot of duck hunting, public land stuff around here. And I'm more of a deer hunter, but it was nothing for when I was young, my dad wake me up 4 or 5 in the morning. Hey, we're duck hunting today. Okay, cool. And and we always had a couple public lane spots that we probably could access to. Plus, we were fortunate, always had a private lane spot or two. But then, like, just going up north a couple hours when I went to college, realized, man, there ain't a lot of public land around just a couple hours away. And so and just realize not as many people are fortunate to have some, even just straight up access to hunt at certain places, then let alone places that do have access to might not be worth a damn, so just kind of surprised and how fortunate we are, luckily.
Yep. Yep.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about for the Fallen Outdoors, the Iowa chapter? Or anything else for that matter? I'm an open book. We can talk about whatever you want. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think last year for the Fallen Outdoors, I think the Midwest region in itself, I think we got close to 3,000 vets out last year.
That's awesome.
The Midwest region alone. So we do get quite a few veterans out. I mean, it's a great organization. I mean, it's a great resource for our vets. I mean, it's truly is. I think it's some of the best. For me, it's some of the best medicine you can get. That outdoor therapy, trigger therapy. You can't beat it. So. Yeah. I don't know. It can help people out in so many ways. I mean, and we don't just stop at vets. I know you're a police officer, and we do hunts for police, firefighter, Gold Star families, everything. Yep. So we don't just stop at veterans either. So which is great.
Yeah, we're kind of that whole group. Obviously, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of veterans who are in the first responder field.
Yep.
But then I don't know. It just seems like we're kind of grouped in together a lot of times. I was very fortunate. HHA Sports invited a bunch of first responder and veterans to a weekend at Vortex up in Wisconsin. It was a great weekend, but it was funny. It was just I'm shooting bows with a bunch of, again, veterans, first responders. All of us are giving each other shit, having a good time, and it was a great weekend. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like we're all, peas of the same pod.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, definitely.
Yep.
Well,
did you guys have a booth at the Iowa Deer Classic? I remember we talked, but I don't remember if you guys had a booth or you guys were just visiting.
Yep, we did. That was our first year. That was actually like one of our first booths ever. So, yeah, we did pretty good there. We met a lot of people. Got the word out really. I mean, I think it helped us out quite a bit this year. So
yeah, the shows, man, they're a lot of work. I'm not saying they're not. They're a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. I truly enjoy in doing these trade shows. We do 3 a year so far. We might bump that number up eventually, but
sure.
I truly have a good time doing it. So
yeah.
So what I'm assuming, I know like the Fallen Outdoors probably isn't your full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Because I know you kind of like me. It's kind of what you do on the side.
Yep.
What is your full-time job?
Yep. So I work at John Deere, Dubuque Works. I'm a experimental mechanic. So I basically work with engineering and build all the brand new equipment that basically people don't know about yet or whatever. All the latest and greatest things that. So it's pretty cool in that aspect. So I mean that's one thing that kind of the Army kind of helped me out with a little bit. I gotta use, so which is great. There's a lot of mechanics come out of the Army that are parts changers, and they don't. So, but it kind of clicked for me being a mechanic. So I kind of took that, ran with it, and used that, and I don't know. I just kind of most of my family works at John Deere, so
there you go.
it's kind of my thing. So
Mm-hmm.
John Deere's treated me well. So, and they're pretty veteran friendly. So they treat us well there. So and,
The reason why I wanted to bring that up is what I've come to realize when I'm meeting, there's a lot of good organizations out there, a lot like the Fallen Outdoors and, us and some others, where we're all about getting first responders or veterans out.
Yep.
And almost all of us are doing this as a side gig. So I
Yeah.
want to say kudos to you, because obviously, you got your job, you got your family, and then you're trying to do this on the side. I know the work that it takes, and it's difficult but rewarding the whole time. So I just want to say kudos to you, man. So it's fun. Wouldn't change anything, but I know the difficulties that come up with it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, especially for you. You're on third shift. I know what that.
yeah. I go to work here in a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, I was on off shift for 5 years, 6 years, and I've been on first shift for the last couple of years. So it's been great now that I'm on first shift. So
Yep.
yeah, that graveyard shift that's for the bees now, man. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
To be honest with you, what I tell people on third, I hate it lifestyle wise. For my family and stuff, I can't stand it. The actual we call it the goon squad. I do like gooning with my boys on third shift. I'm the sergeant on third. It's dangerous at times, but there's no backup. All these other shifts you can call people in. They have extra officers on. And you can usually call for help. Third shift, you got what you got, and I enjoy it. I kind of enjoy the gooning, and also usually the people that are outside during that time frame are the people we're coming after anyway, and I became cop to arrest bad people, and that's usually who's out and about during that time frame. Not always, but usually. So I do enjoy that. Adam, before we get off here, where can they reach out to you or give you guys a follow for the Iowa chapter? You got your Facebook or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, so we don't have a Iowa Facebook page or anything like that, but you can follow us at the Fallen Outdoors Midwest page, and you can, if you're a veteran or whatever, you can get a hold of us that way. But yeah, that's the main way you can get a hold of us. And we have the Fallen Outdoors All Veteran page too, and that's basically how you can get a hold of us. And if you go on there, you can get a hold. You can ask, hey, who's the team lead for Iowa? You can get a hold of me. So that's basically, and you can get a hold of any of our staff on that way. So, but yeah, otherwise too, I can give. I don't have a card on me, but I can give Cody my information too. So, if anybody needs to get a hold of me or anything like that. We could definitely give you some information too.
Perfect. Are you going to be? I think the Fallen's going to be there. I don't know if you're going to be there. Are you going to be at the Deer and Beer Fest at all in Bloomington?
I'm sure the Illinois team is going to be there. I believe.
Yeah, I know
they're
they've been
usually there. So, I'm sure they're going to be there. I think they were there last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they'll
they're
definitely be
not
there.
too far from my booth, if I remember right, and I'm sure they are thinking the same way I'm thinking. That show's growing and growing, and they got a good booth space. I got a good booth space. I ain't giving it up. So.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure Clayton will be there, and Garrett. Garrett's the new team lead for Illinois.
Okay.
So, go stop by and say hi. Tell them you know me or whatever.
Yep. Well, before we get off here, Adam, I'm going to say thank you for your service and thank you for what you're doing to the supporting your fellow veterans and stuff. Appreciate that. If there's anything the Thin Blue Outdoors can do to help you guys, just reach out to us. We would love to help any way we can. Sure. I know I only got one member in Iowa, but at least anything in Illinois, we'd be happy to help you guys that we can.
Sure.
And then other than that, for all the listeners, reach out to Adam if you guys are interested in either supporting their mission or if you're a veteran and want to go on a hunt. Reach out to him. I'll put contact information, like the links to the website and stuff in the description below. If you want to support us, again, you guys know where to go. Go to thinblueoutdoors.com. We got some big stuff happening this year. Some big hunts planned. Got a fishing trip coming up with a couple first responders here soon on Lake Michigan. Yeah, we look forward to having a good time and all that good stuff. And also check out all our people that support us, all our sponsors, and all that good stuff. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and be safe out there.